Hey, welcome to the Explainer. You know, if this was your very first golf lesson, you might think we'd start with a big driver or some flashy irons. But nope, we're going to start right here, with the most important club in your bag. So let's get into it.
Seriously, just think about it for a sec. Which club do you lean on more than any other to save your score, hole after hole?
Yeah, you guessed it. It's the putter. But here's the thing. There's this hidden secret, this tiny little detail about your putter that could be the #1 reason you're missing putts, and you probably don't even know it's there.
And that secret? It's Loft. So today, we're going to break down exactly why this one little measurement is so critical, how it's probably messing with your game right now, and what you can actually do about it. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so what is putter loft anyway? It's really simple. It's just the tiny angle of the putter's face. Imagine if the face was perfectly straight up and down, right? That's 0 degrees of loft. But most putters, they have this slight tilt backward, usually just between 2 and 4 degrees. And that tiny tilt, it has a massive job to do.
Now here's what's so different. Unlike literally every other club in your bag, the putter's loft isn't there to get the ball up in the air. Nope. Its only job is to do one thing perfectly. Get that golf ball rolling as smooth and as fast as possible.
And this breaks it down perfectly. First, that little bit of loft gently lifts the ball out of the tiny dent it makes just by sitting on the green. You can kind of think of it like lifting the ball out of its little nest. Then, that little lift helps the ball immediately start rolling forward nice and smooth without any skidding. And finally, all of this is what controls the launch angle, and that is the absolute key to being consistent.
Okay, so this brings us to what I like to call the Goldilocks dilemma. The amount of loft you have can't be too little, and it can't be too much. For your stroke and for the greens you play on, it has to be, you guessed it, just right. So what happens when it's wrong?
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the difference here. If you have too little loft, the face basically just smashes the ball down into the turf. This causes it to skid and wobble. It never even gets a chance to start rolling cleanly. But on the other hand, if you have too much loft, you're basically launching the ball into the air. It starts hopping and bouncing across the green, which makes controlling your speed and distance, well, it's pretty much impossible, especially on fast greens. So you see, whether the ball is skidding or bouncing, the result is exactly the same. Your launch is all over the place, your distance control is a mess, and you're left watching putts slip out or miss the hole completely. It is so frustrating.
But hey, here's the good news. There is a solution, and it all starts with understanding that the right amount of loft isn't one size fits all. It's totally personal, it's unique to you. Let's take a look at what that really means. So your perfect loft? It depends on your putting stroke. Like, do you press your hands forward when you hit the ball? That's called shaft lean, and it actually reduces the loft. Where's the ball in your stance? Is your stroke steep, coming down on the ball? Or is it more of a shallow, sweeping motion? Heck, even how fast the greens are where you normally play, that matters too. And because of all those things, you just can't grab a putter off the rack and expect it to be perfect for you. That's kind of like buying running shoes without even knowing your shoe size. To really truly get this right, your putter loft has to be custom fitted to match the way you deliver the club at impact.
Okay, so with all these things to consider, what are we actually aiming for? What's the magic number? What does that perfect putt look like when you break down the data?
It's this incredibly tiny window. We're aiming for a launch angle somewhere between 0.75 degrees and 2.5 degrees. That's it. If the ball launches in that tiny little range, it gets out of its depression perfectly and starts a pure, stable roll almost right away. Anything lower, it skids. Anything higher, it hops. I mean, precision is everything here. All right, let's wrap this all up. The whole goal here is to stop guessing with the most important club in your bag and to start getting a predictable, consistent roll on every single putt. This little table really sums it up perfectly. When your loft is right for you, you get that smooth roll, that consistent pace. But if it's too little or too much, you're going to get skidding or bouncing, and that leads directly to missed putts, awful distance control, and just a total lack of accuracy.
And this is the part that just blows my mind. We're not talking about making massive changes here. A tiny adjustment, we're talking just a ½ degree of loft one way or the other, can be the difference between a putt that drops right in the cup and one that just burns the edge. It is truly a game of millimeters.
So I just want to leave you with this one final thought. Your putter is the one club you rely on for every single hole.
If you've never actually had your loft checked to see how you deliver it at impact, you're basically just guessing. And as we've just seen, putting is absolutely no place for guesswork.